Hello, day threeers. Use LinReg to find the line of best fit. This was your warm-up yesterday. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do it. Go. This is what I got. Round to the nearest tenth. Plus 7.4. All that LinReg line of best fit stuff. Fun. Speaking of fun, what's our objective for today? I will be able to calculate percentages and create two-way tables. We are skipping ahead to 9.4. And right off the bat, we're going to do a couple percentage problems. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up like a regular equation. So I look at this, right? And it says what number. Whenever I see what number, I pick X. Whenever I see is, I pick equals. 12% is 12% of is times 500. So when it says what number is 12% of 500, if our job is to solve for X, we're happy because X is already by itself. All we have to do is do the math. So take a second, type that into your calculator, 12% times 500. Don't forget to hit the percent button. When you do, you should get 60. So what number is 12% of 500? 60 is. I don't have to circle X because X isn't the original problem. It's not like it says find X. It says what number is 12% of 500? Well, 60 is 12% of 500. So similarly, looking at 2, 45 is 45. Is equals. 20% is 20%. Of is times. And what number is x? Now I have to get x all by itself. The way I get x all by itself is I divide both sides by 20%. Don't divide both sides by 20. Divide both sides by 20%. That crosses out. Let me move x to the left. If you do the math, 45 divided by 20% is going to end up being 225. Again, I'm only circling 225 because x isn't in the original problem. So keep in mind, if I were to represent, like, just say that that's a donut, right? And I guess, there we go. If I were to take a chunk of that donut, and I were to eat that, don't make fun of me. If I were to eat that donut, and that little piece that I just ate represents 20% of the donut, so that's 20%. If that little piece is 45 calories, I'm asking you to find out the missing parts. So if this is 20%, I care about the other 80%. So it makes sense that the 225 is all of it. That 225 is a much bigger number than 45. So I'm taking a small chunk out of a bigger thing. That's why our answer is so big. Okay? 10 is what percentage? So I'll put x percentage of 200. Now, 10 is a small chunk of 200. If I want to get x all by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 200. Now remember, the question here is not asking what number, it's asking what percentage. When I type this part into my calculator, it's going to tell me 0.05. That is a decimal. In order to turn a decimal into a percent, you have to multiply it by 100. In order to turn a decimal into a percent, multiply it by 100. When I do that, 0.05 times 100 is 5, and then now that it's a percent, I'm going to call it percent. So quite a bit of math there. Teacher, if you need to rewind that and review it, it's not a bad idea because I'm going to have the class do these 3. I know up there it says 2 minutes. Ignore that. It's going to be about 4 minutes. Go. All right, let me write out the equation. What number is x? Is equals 17% is 17% of is times 2,500 is 2,500. That's just straight up math. If you could just do math, then just do the math. When you do, that should end up with 425. Okay? 12 is 60% of what number? Divide both sides by 60%. Divide both sides by 60%. Don't forget the percentage symbol in your calculator. When you do, 12 divided by 60 should end up giving you 20. So we would say x equals 20. Don't need the x. Last but not least, that tricky one. 44 is what percent of 400? What percent? Which means in the end, I'm going to have to multiply by 100 because it's saying what percent. If you need to put that as a note, whenever it says what percent, multiply your final decimal by 100, make sure you do that. Divide both sides by 400. Divide both sides by 400. X is going to end up equaling 0.11. But take that, multiply that by 100, and you get 11%. Okay? Oh, that was fun. No more. Just kidding. 4 more. Try these on your own. I know the timer says 3 minutes. Pah! I'll give you like 5. Go. What number is 20% of 569? Divide both sides. Just kidding. Don't do that. Just multiply them, and you'll get 119.2. 48 is 12% of what number? Divide both sides by 12%. Divide both sides by 12%. X is going to equal 400. 7.2 is what percent of 360? Divide both sides by 360. Divide both sides by 360. When you do that, X will equal 0.02, but that's not a percent yet, not until you multiply it by 100, in which case you'll get 2%. What percent of 50 is 34.5? It looks a little different, but the process is no different. Divide both sides by 50. You'll get a higher decimal this time, 0.69. Multiply that by 100, and that is what you will get. Don't forget the percentage symbol. It's simple to forget that. All right, good job. Candy, yum yums. The 8th grade sold 1,260 candy bars. Good job, 8th grade. Here is a circle graph showing us how much they sold. Mike is 30%, Tom 20%, John 14%, Christine 12%, Sarah 15%.
Brian Reyes, if you're in the building, come to the main lobby. Brian Reyes to the main lobby.
Brian Reyes, my goodness. But look at this. Bianca doesn't have a percentage. Well, this whole thing represents 100. So what we have to do in order to find the missing piece is say 100 minus 30 minus 20 minus 14 minus 12 minus 15. That'll give us 9. So what percent did Bianca sell? 9%. Yeah. Now this is where it gets tricky. How many candy bars did Christine sell? Not what percent did Christine sell? I know Christine sold 12%, but I want to know how many candy bars. Well, if 8th grade sold this many candy bars and Christine sold 12% of them, then she's going to sell 12% of 1,260. When you do that, you might get a decimal, and if you do, you round it. So she sold 151 candy bars. Yes, she sold 12%, but that's not what I want. I want to know how many candy bars she sold. And that's what you get. So how much did John and Sarah sell? Well, John and Sarah together sold 29%. How did I do that? 14 plus 15 is 29. So 29% of 1,260 means you run straight to your calculator. You type in 29% times 1,260. Round it if you have to. 365. What is this, a calendar? Days. That's easy. We're gonna do more of those, but we'll save that for another day. Good work. Good work. Next thing is very important. Two-way tables. Two-way tables display two categories of data. Now, we're going to make a problem up together. We're going to make a problem up together. Let me see. Let's make believe a world in which people own cats and dogs. And let's just say I asked the group, how many of you own cats and dogs? And 5 of you said you do. How many of you own dogs and no cats? Let's just say that there's one crazy person that has a dog but has no cats. Let me ask you this. If I said, how many of you have cats but no dogs? There's a lot of cat lovers in the room. Let's just say that's 7 of you. But how many people have neither cats nor dogs? Well, that's crazy. Great.
Kamani Jones to the main lobby. Kamani Jones to the main lobby.
Oh, come on, E. Oh, boy. No cats or dogs. Well, some people have allergies, so we'll say 3. Sorry if you're one of those weird kids who have no pets. Maybe you have a turtle, and that's fine. Now, I want to find out these totals over here, right? What I do is the total amount of people that have a dog. That's what this block stands for. Try to imagine this as like a multiplication table from back in the day. If you were to go and look at a multiplication table and do like 2 times 2 or 2 times 1, you would go to 2 and you would go to 1 and you would match things up. Well, that 1 here is no cats and dogs. So one person has no cats but do have dogs. I want to find the total people who have dogs. The way I do that is I do 5 plus 1. 6 people have dogs. Some of them have cats, some of them don't have cats. That's not the point. I just want to know how many people have dogs. So the people that don't have dogs are 7 plus 3, 10. The amount of cat people, my type of people, are going to be 5 plus 7, 12. So 5 people have cats and dogs. 5 people have cats but no dogs. Regardless, 12 people have cats. And these losers, these freaks, 4 of them don't have cats. What that does is right here, 4 and 12 total people, or 6 and 10 total people, are in the classroom. 16. All these totals are called marginal frequencies. So if you see the phrase, find the marginal frequencies, that just means find the totals. And you find the totals by adding things up. I like totals. I like totals. Remember that? Remember that? You guys miss me yet? I feel like you should miss me. It's day 3. I'm figuring there's somebody probably in the back of the room rolling around crying. Oh, really? I have to bring those numbers back? 5173. So 5173. That becomes 6 because you add 5 plus 1. That becomes 10 because you do 7 plus 3. That becomes 12 because 5 plus 7. That becomes 4. 6 plus 10. 12 plus 4. 16. How many students do not own cats and do not own dogs? No cats, no dogs, 3. How do I know that? No cats, no dogs. Match up right there. Ooh, I'll get out the magic pen. That'll help me with these. Magic pen, where are you? There you are, magic pen. How many students own cats? How many total students own cats? Go to the total. Here, let's quick write it down. It's 12. I know if I circle that, it's going to give me a spotlight. See? Don't want it. 12. So, 12. Is there a favorite pet for this class? Of course there is. Cats. Look how many people don't... oh, boy. How many people... Well, wait a minute. 12 people love cats compared to 6 people who love dogs. Yeah. Cats. 12. Cats. What in the... I quit. My A. Oh, that was fun. Sorry, everybody. Maybe you don't miss me anymore. Oh my goodness. Let's just say there's a world where a bunch of people are getting flu shots and a bunch of people are not getting flu shots. Of the people who were given a flu shot versus, well, these people were given a flu shot and like 27 of them didn't get the flu. So what I want you to do right now is, we have 2 more of these charts to get through today. Why don't you do this one on your own? Go. 35. 35 total people were given the flu shot. 45 total people were not given the flu shot. How many people got the flu? 24 it looks like, or is that 25? 21, my bad, 9 plus 10. 21 got the flu, and a whole bunch of them, 59 of them, did not get the flu. If you add 21 plus 59, these two, or if you add up 35 plus 45, these two, either way, you'll get 80. So 18, actually, I believe there was a 17 right before this where it says complete the table. Just did. I'll give you a minute or two to answer these problems. All right, how many students received the flu shot and still got the flu? 8. How many students did not get the flu? So that's no flu. Did it mention flu shot? No, so we're going to ignore flu shot. We're going to go straight to the total. That number is 59. 59 total people did not get the flu. And how many students participated in this survey? That's the grand total. 8. Hey, good work. Good work. I'll give you a couple minutes to do all of these. See if you can fill in the blanks based off of what we say up there in 21. And answer these. I'll give you 5 minutes or so. All right, 30% of the Stewart teachers don't own a dog. So don't own a dog is the total percent of Stewart teachers. That's 30%. Tell you what, let me color coordinate this. I'll leave it at red. That's total. Since it didn't mention cats, we're taking it straight to the total. 80% own cats. Did it mention dogs? No. So we're going to go to the total again. 10% don't own a dog or a cat. So don't own a dog, don't own a cat, 10%. My job is to fill out the rest of this. Now, what I would do is I would work my way backwards. Let me go to a friendly one right here. Right here. If the total is 30 and 10% lives in this block, that means this has to be 20%. Let me think. How about if 80% is in that block and the total is 100%, then that missing block has to be 20%. The total people who own dogs, right here, is going to be 100% minus 30%. The total percent of people who own dogs but don't own cats, but own dogs is going to be 20 minus 10%. 10%. And the people who own both cats and dogs is 60%. So if you look around the graph, you'll see that everything flows through nicely. What percentage of teachers own both cats and dogs? Well, that would be 60. What percentage of teachers don't own dogs but do own cats? That would be that black 20 right there. And if there are 60 Stewart teachers, how many don't own cats? The amount who don't own cats is 20%. I didn't mention dogs, so don't own cats means you're going to go straight to the total. 20%. But did I ask for a percent? No. I asked for how many teachers. 20% of that 60 is going to be, I think it's 12. 20% times 60 is 12. 12 terrible monsters who don't own cats. I'll never understand. I can't judge. Maybe they're allergic. Maybe there's weirdos who are allergic. I'm sorry. So that's that. Day 3 complete. Homework. It's right there. If you need to rewind and go over anything, be my guest, be my guest. That should do it. Bye.